Okay, y'all. I am live. I am live. I'm live, y'all. Woo! It took a minute for me to get here. There's always got to be technical difficulties whenever I'm trying to do a training for y'all, of course. But your girl is live, guys. So real quick, as more people are coming on, just let me know. Can you guys see and hear me? Okay. Let me know. Drop a yes in the chat, guys, if you can see and hear me. Also, let me know where you guys are logging in from. I want to hear where you guys are logging in from. I'm logging in from Queens, New York, my hometown, where I built my first beauty supply store. So I'm gonna share my story, about how I built a store here in New York City and what it took to get all that happening. But guys, if you can hear me, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Where are you looking to open your beauty supply store? First of all, let's get some conversation going. Let's get some conversation going. Who do we have in the building? Who do we have in Rodnicia's in the building, Indianapolis. Okay, what's up? Where else are we looking to open our stores? San Diego. Hey Veronica, how are you? Where else are we looking? San Diego is in the building. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Who else do we have? Who else do we have here? I'm going to show some comments. Who else do we have here? Jackson, Florida is in the building. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Erica. Jacksonville is in the building. Okay, so we actually have a store that I'm gonna be talking about actually. That is in Jacksonville. That's exciting. That is very exciting. Who else do we have in the building? Where I know come on y'all. Where y'all looking to open these stores? Type your cities in the chat. Where else are we looking to open these stores? Let us know as we are getting more people into the room. Let us know where else is okay, here we go. Memphis, Tennessee is here. The colony is here. Hey Nikisha. The colony is here. Where else? Where else? Where else? Where else? Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we are gonna get started because I feel like I'm a little bit behind. So we're gonna get started, y'all. But as you can see, the chat is open, guys. So as we are talking about all the things, I'm also doing a screen share for the first time. So hopefully this works out for me. But as we're talking about all the things, let me know in the chats whether or not these things are resonating with you. But right now, I feel like it's time for us to have this conversation about opening and launching a beauty supply store in 2025. I do have a special gift for all of those who are able to stay to the very end tonight. So I'm excited to be sharing that with you guys. So if you can, try to stay to the very, very end for the special gift for staying. So if you guys are here on this webinar, it's for one of many reasons, but most of the time when we get people on the training, it's because number one, you might be someone who is tired of making money for everybody else and you are ready to build your own beauty empire. You may have been someone who has thought about opening a beauty supply store, but you don't know where to get started. You have seen the conversation about this industry. Maybe you've seen conversation online. Maybe you have Googled it. Maybe you have YouTube this information, and you have noticed that there's a lot of gatekeeping. There's a lot of gatekeeping, and there's not a whole bunch of information out there. But you know that this is where you want to get started. You know it's time for Black ownership. You may be someone who wants financial freedom and a business that also serves your community at the same time. So someone who's wanting to probably step out into entrepreneurship in a business that has a service component to it. And you know that this industry is profitable, and this is where you can start to place your stake in the ground and get ready to claim your share. If any of this sounds like you are definitely in the right place. So, guys, we are halfway through 2025, and I want you guys to imagine that by the end of this year, or maybe by the end of next year, you'll be celebrating the grand opening of your very own beauty supply store, because it can happen. This is me at a grand opening of a beauty supply store in Cypress, Texas. This is two different owners at the same grand opening, celebrating each other. Guys, there is a movement of Black women taking over this industry. And throughout this training, I'm going to highlight quite a few of them so that you are able to see that this is actually possible. It's possible for you to get your own store open. So let me know in the chat, do you believe this for yourself? Can you see yourself actually stepping into ownership? And what would it mean if you were to become the first Black owned beauty supply store in your community? What would that mean for you? Because listen, the opportunity is here. We're going to talk about that. So before we get started, let me know who is new to my tribe. Let me know if this is your first training. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is your first time training with me. Before I formally introduce myself, let me know if this is your first training. Drop a 1 in the chat. I see some new names coming up, so I feel like there's quite a few new faces on here. So for those of you who are new, my name is Janice. I am the Retail Genius. I'm the founder of Fabulous Freddy's NYC. I'm also the founder of the Retail Genius consulting firm. We have been in business for almost 20 years in the retail industry, with over a decade in the beauty supply industry. To date, I've created online courses that have helped hundreds of Black women and men successfully launch their beauty supply stores. I've helped my clients secure over $1.4 million in funding last year. So this is 2024. The women who are in our program were able to collectively get funding of over $1.4 million. And to date, I have guided beauty supply store owners to collectively gross over $15 million in sales. So this is $15 million in sales in beauty supply stores. Okay, I have been featured in quite a few places: Black Enterprise Magazine, Beauty Supply Magazine. I've been featured in a show here in New York City called BK Live, countless blogs, the daily news here in New York City. So that has been my receipts. But recently, I love to talk about the boot camp receipts. So my Beauty Supply boot camp program by itself has its own receipts. So apart from me being a pioneer in this industry and doing my thing with my stores, my boot camp program, I'm really, really excited to talk about my boot camp's receipts. So the Business Insider wrote about the Beauty Supply boot camp program, saying the Retail Genius is helping fill the pockets of Black women. Yahoo Finance mentions that the program has helped Black women generate over $3 million in beauty supplies. This was back in 2020 during COVID that they wrote this article about the program. And Kivo Daily Live says Janice Fredericks is reclaiming the beauty supply industry for Black women everywhere. So this is our new mission, y'all. This is our new mission to help Black women and Black men reclaim this industry. We have this huge goal of opening 100 beauty supply stores this year. We are looking to open 100 beauty supply stores all across America, Canada, and the Caribbean this year. And there's going to be a call for you to join that movement towards the end. So guys, you definitely want to stay to the end for the opportunity to join one of the 100 stores that we plan to open. Okay, so a little bit about my story, guys. Like many of you, I was a corporate girl. I was living the so-called dream. I went to business school and I worked for one of the largest investment firms, arguably in America, still number one right now. And so for me, this was a very comfortable place. I was in the corporate space. I worked for the U.S. Treasury Department. Then I went to work for Goldman Sachs. So I was a Wall Street girl with my business degree to back all of it up. However, the pressure and the long hours and the constant stress led me to have daily anxiety attacks that were so bad that I was actually prescribed. At one point, I was prescribed Xanax from my doctor because my anxiety was so bad. And I realized that once my doctor told me that I should try Xanax, that this was not the job for me. So let me know in the chat, if have you ever had a moment where you felt like this is not the job for you because it was the stress, or you were tired, or whatever the case may be. It may not have been anxiety, but maybe you felt overworked, underappreciated, underpaid, right? A lot of people that I speak to feel this way. I'm not the only one. So it was at this moment where I had this conversation with my doctor about getting on these pills. I knew that there had to be more than just surviving, because this is how I felt while I was at that job where I was just surviving every single day. And that I needed to reclaim my peace, right? I needed to reclaim my peace, my purpose in life, because I felt like I had no purpose at this point. I was just working just to get money. And there was at this point where everything changed, because eventually I was fired and forced to figure it out. I'm gonna talk about black women getting fired from their job. So of course, once I was fired, I knew I wanted to start a business. This is what catapulted me into actually taking entrepreneurship seriously. So I got into looking for different business opportunities. Like many of you, I was looking into real estate. At one point, I was looking into Popeyes, because my father had opened a few Popeyes, quite a few here in Queens, New York. And once I got looking into the Popeyes franchise, I realized that the investment was like over $300,000. I knew that's not something I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to do something that was purpose driven. I knew I wanted to do something I was passionate about. I knew I wanted to do something where I saw that there was a huge void in the marketplace. And this is where I found out what it was. One day I was standing in a beauty supply store, right? Like many of you, I was standing in a beauty supply store. I was watching all these black women spend hundreds of dollars. Like I sat there for about 30 minutes, and I saw about $3,000 worth of transaction in that half an hour that I was sitting there. And this is where I had my epiphany moment, because I was watching the money come through the cash registers, and at the same time, I saw black women get ignored. I saw a black woman felt really disappointed that we couldn't answer our questions. I felt in that moment while I was sitting in this beauty supply store, this is the void, okay? Because it was clear that we had all of these women spend this money, yet we owned nothing. And this was the opportunity. This is how we reclaim our power. And in that moment, this is when everything changed. So I decided to open my beauty supply store. I took massive action towards the goal. I didn't sit on it. I didn't think about it. I took massive action towards the goal. And in 60 days, it was 2 months from where I had the idea until I had my soft launch event, I opened my beauty supply store. Okay, I opened my beauty supply store in September of 2010. Okay, so this was a picture of my actual grand opening date. And I remember this day like it was yesterday, because this was the day that my entire life changed. My entire family actually was at my grand opening. I had my aunts that flew in from out of town. I had the community that showed up. I had the SBA that was there. And so this was the day where everything changed. Okay. Now, one thing to know, guys, my entire family was there. My parents, who was very leery about me opening the store during an economic downturn, they were there. They saw me realize this dream, and they were so proud. And I just remember saying to myself, like, I actually did it. Like, I can't believe I'm here at this ribbon cutting and I actually opened this beauty supply store. And I remember the community coming out and showing up and supporting my store. I remember the community support more than I remember my family support, because I did not expect for so many people come out and support this young black girl that was 24 at the time, this young black girl opening this store. Well, let me tell you something. When you open a beauty supply, a black owned beauty supply store in the community, people are going to show up because they want to witness history being made. It's not every single day that we see a black owned beauty supply store being open. Clothing stores, yes. Food restaurants, yes. But a beauty supply store, it's not every single day that we see this. And so when the community showed up, it meant so much to me, y'all. It meant so much to me. So let me know in the chat. Let's talk about who was the one person that you would actually want to show up at your grand opening. What one person would you want to be there? drop their name in the chat, whether it's your parents, whether it's your grandma. My grandmother was there, God rest her soul. She was there to see this amazing day, and I'm just so grateful that she was there. I miss her every single day, but I'm so grateful that she was there for this grand opening experience. Let me know in the chat who's the one person that you would want to actually show up. It could be anybody to witness this amazing, great day, this amazing, great accomplishment. Who is that one person? Drop their names in the chat. Drop their names in the chat. This is going to be amazing. And then also, as we are thinking about our grand opening day and we're envisioning the people that we want there, I want you to also think about, with your eyes closed, right? Because this is the moment that you're going to have permission to dream. Okay? This is a safe space. And so you have permission to dream without any obstacles, without the barriers, without the what ifs, without the excuses. We're just here thinking big right now. A lot of us just need to be around people that think big. A lot of us need to be around people that believe, right? And so you're going to see this. Let's talk about, what is your dream store launch date? If we can get together and we can work with you and we can help you on this journey, what would be your dream store launch date? Drop a month in the chat, whether that's October of this year, whether it's your birthday that might be special, whether it's some special anniversary that this date may be special, whether it's Black Friday, whether it's Christmas, New Year. What is the month and year that would be your dream? Like, it would be such a dream. I did it in 60 days, and you could do. And I'm going to show you guys how I did it in 60 days. But what would be that dream store launch date? Drop it in the chat. I want to see some dates, y'all. Okay. July 2026. Let's go. What other dates do we have? What other dates do we have? Drop it in the chat, y'all. So now that we're talking about our dates, the next question that you should be asking is, okay, all of this sounds great. I would love to open in 60 days like you did, but I really don't know how much this is going to cost, Lord. I don't know how much this is going to cost. So let's talk about what an average startup budget looks like for your beauty supply store. Okay? Because a lot of our stores are underfunded because they just don't know what you don't know. So I want you guys to actually take a screenshot of this information. So screenshot this real quick so you can have this as you are building out your own budget. So this is what you're going to want to do. And if you have a pen and if you have paper, you want to take out your pen and paper so that you can actually start to work these numbers as we're working them live. Minimum, I always tell people, the minimum average, it is going to vary, guys, from state to state. The location is going to vary, whether you are in a downtown area in your community or you're in the suburbs, whether you have a 1,500 square foot store or a 10,000 square foot store. There's so many variables that you have to consider when looking at your startup budget. But I always tell people, with the smallest store that we work with, which is about 1,000, 1,200 square feet, 1,500 square feet, that's where you can start. Right. My store was really, really tiny. It was 800 square feet, but it was cute for what I wanted it to be. And then, we upgraded after that. But for the smallest 1,200 square foot store, this is what I'm going to give you as a formula. This is the Retail Genius formula for a 1,200 square foot store. Minimum is $75,000. Okay. Everybody's a boss until the invoice comes. Everybody is a boss until the invoice comes. This is what someone said to me when I was looking for spaces, and I started to get shook because the numbers were just shocking me. And she was like, you gotta really, if you're wanting to go from this Queens location to a Brooklyn location, this is major leagues. Now you're gonna be playing with the big boy. And everybody wants to be a boss until the invoice comes. And that's exactly what she said. All of that to say, scared money doesn't make any money. So the bigger the store, the more opportunity you have to make money. So you have to take your 9-to-5 hat off, where we are scared of investing in ourselves and investing in business and put on an entrepreneurial hat to where now you're focused on the return on investment. So if you are paying $10,000 a month for your space, you want to make sure that that 10,000 turns into 100,000, right? This is what you want to be looking at. So when we talk about startup costs being a minimum of 75K, guys, the stores that we open these days, we start at 150,000. We start at 200,000 because we are trying to get bigger stores to be more competitive, and we are wanting a faster return on our investment. But you can go ahead and start a smaller store. That's possible. I started out small and then we grew. So let's talk about it. So the biggest cost, the largest cost typically is going to be your inventory for your beauty supply store. That's going to be a third of your budget, or it should be a third of your budget. Then you're going to be considering the build out of your space. That is usually about 20% or so of your budget. So here, the inventory is about $25,000, and then the build out is about 15. This is how we are kind of breaking up the budget. And then your working capital is going to be the third major cost that you want to consider. What is working capital? Working capital is going to be the amount that you're going to budget for your store for the first 3 to 6 months of overhead expenses. That means your light bill, your rent, your payroll, all of your overhead bills to actually keep the business afloat for the first 3 to 6 months as you are getting customers in and people are knowing your store is there. You need to have this budget in place. And this is where I made the mistake. I didn't have it. So I was paying a lot of things out of pocket and still paying credit cards and stuff like that. You do not want to do this mistake. Learn from my mistake. You need to have a working capital budget in place for 3 to 6 months. So here we budgeted $10,000 to cover our overhead expenses for the first 3 to 6 months. And then you're going to have shelving and furniture around 10%. You're going to have your initial payroll. You're going to have your grand opening budget. You're going to have uniforms. You're going to have store bags. You're going to have your POS system. You're going to have your security, which is your cameras, your security setup. Okay, that's another. All of these things make up your total budget for your beauty supply stores. These are the things that you want to consider, but this is not an exhaustive list, y'all. This is just a snapshot of what this looks like. So you have a realistic idea of what it takes to open a beauty supply store that's going to be competitive. So we're not talking about something that's going to be super small with no inventory. We're talking about a store that's going to have enough inventory to fill the space. So when we're talking about a 1,200 square foot store, we're talking about 25,000 or so worth of inventory. This is going to be a key when you're talking about competing with the Asians and the Arabs with their 10,000 square foot beauty supply stores that are the size of a Walmart. Okay? So let's move on. Now, let's talk about the return on investment. So again, we're taking off our 9 to 5 hat where we're focused on cost and how much it's going to cost me, and we're putting on our entrepreneurial hat where we're talking about the return. How much can I make and how fast can I make it? So right now, 2025 is literally the best time to start. Well, the best time to start was last year, but if you're on today, the best time to start is now, because monthly revenue projection from a store that's maybe 1,200 square feet up until our mega beauty supply stores, the income can vary between 10,000 and 150,000. Again, depending on how big your store is, with the annual revenue from 120K to 1.8 million. We've had stores to generate $1 million to $2 million because they have a bigger store with more inventory, right? So we'll talk about that. Now, the time to the return on investment is the second most important question that you want to ask as an entrepreneur. And in our programs, our clients see a return on investment on average between 12 and 18 months, which is very, very fast. Retail is a fast industry, and beauty supply is even faster. So beauty supply is one of the fastest growing industries in the retail sector. Why? Because it's recession proof, and I'm going to talk about that later on. Okay, so right now the black hair care market is valued at 3.2 billion, and in 2033 is going to be projected at 4.9 billion. Now the natural hair care market overall is 10.17 billion dollars with a projected growth rate of 9%. So basically 10% from 2025 to 2030. You can see an increase of 10% in this industry. Like I told y'all, I've already been in this industry since 2010, and I've lived through, at this point, 3 different recessions. And each recession, which again, I'm going to get into it later, we have seen the beauty market always increases. Okay, so now let's talk about the latest news and what has happened since our current administration. So what we have seen is that over 300,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce. I've already shared my story of me losing my, what it seemed to be, good, comfortable, safe job. A lot of these women have lost their job because these are government jobs. There's DEI shut down, and a lot of these initiatives were supported by Black women. Okay, so if you have not seen these numbers, y'all, these numbers are true and real numbers. Okay, your job is not safe. Now, I'm not saying that you have to up and quit your job, but you need to start thinking about creating your own economy. Okay, you need to start thinking about getting into an industry that is still thriving at this point, not as a worker, but as an owner, right? As an owner, not as a consumer, but as an owner, because it is time to pivot from being laid off to actually legacy building. And if you don't create your exit plan, you will be like me, fired and forced to figure it out. Don't be forced to figure out anything. Start to create your exit plan now. Or if you're not someone who is wanting to completely exit, start to create the investor, which is that 9 to 5 job, to invest in your actual beauty supply business. Okay. The second thing is our Trump tariffs. Our Trump tariffs. Now, our Trump tariffs, where we've seen 30% increase in products because a lot of our products come from Vietnam and China, right? This has directly hit the pockets of hairstylists and people who are actually beauty supply store owners. And this is why we need to own our supply chain and not rely on others. But here is the reality. These Trump tariffs are not going anywhere. Okay? Costs are going to rise across the board. I always talk about eggs. I've been waiting for eggs to come back down for the past 2 years. They ain't come back down yet. Okay? Y'all ain't seen these eggs come down yet. This is the same thing when it comes to our beauty supply products. Okay? There are 3 things, okay, 3 things that we need to do to flip the script on the Trump tariffs that is going to allow us to actually make more money than we could have imagined without the Trump tariffs. Because I've already been through this, okay? In 2008, which was the mortgage crisis, unemployment was at an all-time high, inflation was high, everything was going up. Number 1, the way that I made a lot of money was by collaborating with Black-owned brands. Why did we have to collaborate with Black-owned brands back in 2010? This was before Target. This was before Sally's. This was before Ulta cared about Black-owned brands. And now we see Target has been boycotted. And so now we're going back to square one, where we were literally forced to do business with each other. How many of y'all know about Black Tulsa and the Black Wall Street in the 1920s, where it was a segregated community and we were forced to do business with each other? It was one of the wealthiest Black communities of our time because we were forced to do business with each other. This is exactly what happened in 2010 when I had my store. Because a lot of these emerging Black-owned natural organic brands were starting to come out because women were going through a period of the big chop and we wanted natural products and the beauty supply store didn't have that, we were forced to like go online and go on YouTube to try to figure out, now that I've chopped my hair off, where do I get these products from? And they were buying everything online. Well, my store, Fabulous Freddy's, became a hub for those natural products because there was no shelf space on the big box retailers and the Chinese ain't know about it, right? But I did because I did my own big chop. And so while I had these products in my store, because I knew what Black women wanted, these products had the highest profit margin and more community support because they wanted to support a Black owned beauty supply brand that was natural, that was organic, that was all the things, right? This is where our Black dollar was able to circulate in the community 100% because it went from a Black manufacturer to a Black retailer to a Black consumer, and the money stayed in our community. This is what we will have to go back to. Instead of sourcing our products from China and Vietnam, we need to work very closely with our Black owned brands, our Black owned USA brands here so that we can continue to circulate the black dollar the same way we did in the 1920s, where we had the wealthiest Black economy that we've ever seen. The second thing is we also need to start considering creating our own private label products made here in the USA. Again, cutting dependency on overseas manufacturing. So in our store, we did a few things private label. We had private label bundles. At one point, we had private label makeup. We had jewelry. We had a lot of things that we had in our store. And if I were to go back in time and do it again, I would have a lot more things private label. Why? Because you're able to then charge what you want to charge for your own products because it's your own brand. And so your margins, your profit margins on your own items could be as high as 70, 80%, or even 100%. Because again, this is your own brand that you have in your beauty supply store, and you're able to push your own brand and you're able to charge what you want on your own brand. This is called private label products or white label products. The terms are literally the same. Okay. The third thing that you have to do is to create an experience that beat the price. Okay. Because people will pay for value when they know that they're getting an experience. Okay. So Beyonce sold tickets and she sold out because y'all knew the experience was worth it. Now I ain't going to a Beyonce concert, but I know some of y'all did. Why? Because y'all knew y'all was going to get that experience. Okay. So you have to do the same concept with your beauty supply store. People drove over state lines to get to my beauty supply store because we were providing a wonderful experience. We had testers, we had in-store activations, we had consultations, we had all of these things that screamed experience. And that's why people not only traveled very far to get to my store, but also paid what? Premium pricing for the products. So something that could have cost $1 at the Asian store, we might have charged $1.20, maybe even $1.50 for that same product, premium pricing, because we were giving an experience that the Asians nor the Arabs were giving. Okay. Now, Trump's beautiful bill. Let's talk about Trump's beautiful bill. Okay. So Trump's beautiful bill was not allocated for Black owned businesses specifically. It focuses on tax loopholes and funding and licensing. Okay. Now, here is how we are going to use Trump's beautiful bill to our advantage. Okay. Because this bill actually comes with a lot of new tax write-offs for business owners. So imagine you're able to write off 30 to 40,000 in inventory costs just to stock your shelves. Okay. This is what you're able to do under this new bill right now with this current administration if you act now. You're able to deduct equipment, shelving, signage, and build out expenses. You're also able to leverage bonus depreciation for startup investments. So when we're thinking about a retail store, our startup funds are at its highest in the beginning, right? Because again, you have to literally pack your store in with 30 to 40 to 50,000 worth of inventory, again, depending on your size of your store. But with this new administration, you're able to leverage that as a write-off 100%. Okay. Also, lower taxable income. You're able to lower your taxable income by reinvesting back into your business, right? Through inventory, through systems, through education. Okay. So now you may be asking the question, this all sounds good, but I still have questions about how the Asians are able to come into this industry and absolutely kill it, and we're not able to do that. How do I get started? What are the gatekeepers, and how do I get this funding? Okay. So few things before we actually get into that. There are a lot of myths that has been going around in the beauty supply industry. And a lot of it stems from using disempowering language, okay? Saying I don't have enough money, saying the industry is saturated. I came in where there was beauty supply stores on every single corner. Here in New York City, especially in Brooklyn, there's a beauty supply store on every single corner. And a lot of them are owned by the same family. So when we talk about saturation, that is a myth. That is a big myth. I don't know how to get accounts. I don't know if I have the time. I told you guys the time for you to open a beauty supply store was last year. The second best time is right now. And I don't know how to get funding or where I'm going to get funding. So again, as you're going on this journey, and it doesn't really matter what business you're going into, you have to stop using disempowering language. You have to stop using disempowering language and put on your entrepreneurial hat and look at, ooh, that's getting, and look at your return on investment. Okay, that is what you're going to be focused on. Because Madam C.J. Walker, who was the first self-made black millionaire in the early 1900s, was able to get her start in the same industry that we're trying to get our start in. And she says, I got my start by giving myself a start. Okay, she says, I got my start by giving myself a start. Meaning, if she was able to do this back in the early 1900s, where there was no funding, black people couldn't get any type of money, any type of credit cards, nothing like that, and she was able to get started, we are able to do it as well. So in short, y'all, I've been in this industry, like I said, for a long time. I've made a lot of mistakes, and now I am helping black entrepreneurs successfully open stores too. This is a store in Atlanta, Georgia, here on my right, and then another store in the DFW area called Inherited Beauty Co. And you guys are going to see a whole bunch of black women that have already done this, that have already gone ahead of you and gotten stores open. So now let's get into these gems. Let's get into these myths. Okay, so one common myth you have probably been told is that you need a perfect personal credit score to obtain funding. Well, this is the truth. You can obtain business funding with little to no credit, because business credit and personal credit are two different things. Two different things. Okay, one utilizes your social security number and one utilizes your EIN number. And there has been plenty of people who have been able to get business credit for their beauty supply stores to fund inventory, to fund their systems, to fund their construction build out costs, okay? Because they were able to build up their business credit. You just need to know the difference between the two, okay? So one thing that you need to do is identify and explore different funding resources, not just your 401k. This is what I did. I just went for the 401k, that's it. But exploring business loans. In our program, we heavily utilize the SBA 7A program. That's the program that we get funding for our clients. Okay. You can also utilize angel investors. This is people that may have access to a 401k or may just have extra cash sitting around. So investors is always there. You must have a business plan, which I'm going to talk about. And then also there are grants. I talk about grants last because most startup businesses don't qualify for grants. You have to be in business and have income and things of that nature. So grants is not really a thing for startup businesses. It's not really a thing for people who are trying to open a beauty supply store where the startup costs are significant, minimum 75,000. Like I said, a lot of grants are like 500, 1,000, and so we focus on our main programs, which is getting funding through the SBA 7A program. Okay. So this is Keisha. I'm gonna share with you her video of how she got her store started.
Hi, y'all. How are you? As Miss Janice said, my name is Keisha Woodruff. I am the proud owner of the Beauty Know-How Beauty Supply Store found here in Tomball, Texas. I just want to come here and just let y'all know and just give you just a snippet of how Janice has been instrumental in my path, instrumental on my path to today opening a physical brick and mortar beauty supply store. I started following her 10 years ago because 15 years ago was lit up on my heart to open this beauty supply store. And thinking about how I was going to do it, I follow Janice for all these years. When she opened her store, I remember her doing a lot of YouTubes. I remember her doing her inventory. She did her employees and how she handled those things. And I've been following her for all these years. And then there's sometimes I would stop following it. I was like, maybe it's not for me, and then I would pick it up. But we are here now.
Okay, y'all. So that is Miss Keisha, and she was actually able to get $150,000 for her beauty supply store in Tomball, Texas. So her store was fully funded. She got 150,000 for her beauty supply store. Opened last year, and
Hi, y'all. How are you?
beauty supply store. Another client of mine is Vanessa. She's in North Dakota, which I know y'all thinking like, are there people in North Dakota, black people in North Dakota? There's black people in North Dakota. So she opened her store. She was actually a hairstylist that went to turn her salon into a beauty supply store, and we was able to open her store, get her started. Literally, this text message that she sent me was that she was out the gate making $500 per day and was on track to actually double in her business year two, literally double in her business. I'm gonna share her testimonial too.
My name is Benisa Sar. I am from West Africa, born in West Africa, raised in the U.S. I started my journey, what was it, 7 years ago with Janice? It's a long time. And she was so patient with me and just walked me through everything that I needed to do to get my dream beauty supply store open slash salon. When we started this journey, I started it on a whole, I think we both did, started, a whole different space. And where we are both are now, I can say that it just shows how resilient us Black women are. We make it work. We get it done. Raising newly single mothers, raising our babies, but still pursuing, following our dreams. That is something that I'm so, so proud of. I can't say it enough that just because you are a mother or a single mother, that doesn't mean that you can't pursue and accomplish your goals. You absolutely can. It won't be easy. It will not be easy. You are going to need a lot of help. You're going to cry. You're going to need God for sure. You're going to need some miracles, but it is absolutely, absolutely possible. You can get it done.
Exactly, y'all. It is absolutely possible that you can get it done. And Benisa, like she said, is a single mom of. She was a single mom of four small children when we was actually working on her
My name is
supply
Benisa.
store. And so when I talk to, especially my black women, when I talk to you guys, and you have challenges in front of you, I love to share Benisa's story because we were literally was actually going through divorce at the same time. I'm actually still going through my divorce, but anyway, that's another story. She was going through divorce at the same time, literally going through divorce, single mom of four babies, opening a beauty supply store, and literally got to the finish line through all of those challenges, through all of those obstacles. And I love to share her story because it's a testament to show just the strength and resilience of Black women, that when we set our minds to something and we really, really work hard on it, it is possible and we can get it done. Okay. So the second biggest issue with Black owned stores is literally being underfunded with the budget. So I shared with you guys that snapshot of our startup budget and the formula that we use for our clients, because I want you guys to understand that it's going to take an investment to get that return. Okay, a lot of us have freely invested in education. We got this 4 year degree. Some of us got masters. Literally, Black women, we are some of the smartest people right now in America. That's not me saying that. That's literally a statistic that we are the most educated group. But yet, we have ownership of the beauty supply industry of less than 1% Black women. Let me know in the chat if you got at least a 4 year degree or higher. Drop a one in the chat just so y'all can see that literally we have what it takes. We have all the accolades, we have all the credentials, we've went to school and invested in ourselves, and we don't have any ownership to show for them. Drop a one in the chat. Okay. This is Flawless Beauty Supply out in Dallas, Texas. These two ladies was actually able to get 75,000 in funding in over a weekend of actually getting our business plan. They started our beauty supply bootcamp program. This was probably back in like 2017, 2016, and literally within a weekend of getting the business plan template, plugging it away with their own information, giving it to their lender, they was actually able to get 75,000 in funding for their beauty supply store. They're also in the DFW area, Flawless Beauty Supply. So another common myth that we have been told is that you cannot get into beauty supply unless you're an agent because the agents have everything on lock. But here's the truth. The truth is, when you're getting into this industry or any industry, you need to be able to speak the native language. And it is not what you think, right? You need to be able to speak the language of retail. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to understand the fundamentals of retail and to be able to speak the language of retail. Because essentially, when you're coming into this industry, guys, you are a retailer. You are a retailer. I tell my clients this all the time. Like, we wear all of these different hats, but the main hat that you need in order to be successful and profitable is your retailer's hat. Because a lot of us think that we need to understand beauty and we need to understand products and we need to understand weaves and colors and all. The agents know nothing about that. They understand retail business. Okay, they are focused on business, the back ends of retail shops, brick and mortar shops. And that is what they study and that is what they know. Same thing with the Arabs. They ain't sitting here studying black hair. They ain't sitting here studying beauty products. Have you ever seen that? No, you've never seen it. But in 3 decades that the Asians have been able to come in and dominate the beauty supply industry, they've been able to master what it is to build a retail business and multiply it. This is exactly what we need to do. Other things that you need to do is choose a strategic location based on the traffic. A lot of us are choosing the wrong locations. The wrong locations will have you out of business. Okay? So choosing a location based on traffic, demographics, and your competitors. Also, designing the store layout to enhance the customer experience. Now, I will say this probably many times. Customer experience is going to be paramount when you're building your black owned beauty supply store. So the store layout and the design of the store layout. So you guys will see a lot of designs that we have done for our clients. The design is going to be everything. And then lastly, you have to implement an inventory management system and develop strategic vendor relationships. Your relationships with the vendors are going to be paramount also for your success of your beauty supply store. So this is another store, another success story. Two gentlemen out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. These gentlemen generated $10,000 in sales in a weekend that I was there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Actually, the first black-owned beauty supply store in Baton Rouge. The community came out. When I tell y'all that the community comes out, I'm not just saying it because it was my experience. I'm saying it because I've seen it in other stores, especially with this store here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm going to share their video right now.
For this, if someone was to ask us about Janice for this working with them to start up a beauty supply store, we would tell you, go ahead. That would be the best option that you can get at this time because there's no companies out there that's going to give you the results that we came up with and also put that personal feeling into it to help you succeed as such as it was her business. So that experience brought us that you can feel the vibe that she gave to help us make our store the way we wanted to design it, not just because other stores it's like that. So that was one of the best reasons we choose to go with Janice as well.
And I would say trust. I just feel like when you dealing with a company and you hundreds of miles away and you paying your money, you want to feel like you can trust these people. So I just feel like when we put that money in Janet's hands for her to consult for us, I just felt like we could really trust her. So, I advise anybody when making a business deal like that, you want to be able to trust the person you're giving that money to.
These mosquitoes is about to kill me, y'all. So, like I said, y'all, these dudes made they made $10,000 in their opening weekend sales. It was one of the best grand openings I've ever been to, where there was literally a line outside of their door, and that is because we were very strategic about our marketing efforts and making sure the community knew that this black-owned beauty supply store, the first black-owned beauty supply store in Baton Rouge, was coming. This is another store. This is actually Keisha's store, the Beauty Know-How. And what I love to show about her store, this is actually one of the 3D renderings that we did for her store. We have an interior designer that does the design, and then we have blueprints that are done for our clients, and so that you can literally see what the store is going to look like before it actually comes to life. This is where it starts to get really, really creative, and your dream is starting to come to life. So this is a rendering of her store. And what's great about her store is that her store actually was not in a predominantly black community. So some of you guys might be on here and you might be thinking like, the area I want to put my store is not predominantly black. It may be mixed. It may be diverse. A lot of our communities are diverse. Keisha's store is in a very diverse community. And so what you want to think about when you're creating a store in a diverse community is creating a diverse product mix. So we literally sit down with all of our clients to create the product mix that's going to make sense for the community. So a lot of mistakes people make is that they just literally buy inventory blind, and buying the wrong inventory can cost you a lot of money. I spent $20,000 with the wrong vendors with the wrong inventory because I just didn't know, right? And so we literally sit down and hand select everything that's going to be tailored for your community, because I have seen really big stores open and close not because they lacked inventory, but because they literally had the wrong inventory. They didn't have anyone really guiding them on what was best for their stores. Okay. So another common myth that you have probably been told is that the beauty supply market is oversaturated, right? And you have no chance of competing. But the truth is the beauty supply market has literally increased 20% over this past year and continues to increase, right? Like I mentioned before, it is projected to increase 10% every single year till like the year 2030. Okay. This is also a recession-proof industry. I have lived through the mortgage crisis, y'all, of 2008. Then we had COVID in 2020, where stores was literally had to be shut down. We were still opening stores in COVID. And miraculously, our stores made more money by doing delivery and having storefront pickup and all of that. Our stores actually made so much money because we had the proper systems in place, where the Koreans and the Arabs did not have systems to actually have customer data, be able to reach the customers, have conversations, and still deliver. We lived through COVID. And right now, guys, with Trump tariffs and things are changing in the industry, and inflation is really high and employment is really, really high, stores continue to get open. I have mentioned, y'all, if y'all follow me, I have mentioned the Arabs are starting to literally take over a lot of our Asian owned stores. They're buying up a lot of the Asian owned stores. They're building really, really large, flashy stores. And now the Arabs have this real community, cute community initiative to it, because they are learning from the mistakes. The Arabs are learning from the mistakes of the Asians, where the Asians came into the black community and treated us like trash, and they had no community give back. The Arabs are coming into the community. They know better than to treat us like trash because they see where that got them, where I got the Asians. And now they have these like community stuff. I told y'all, there's one dude with this large family literally calling out his Arab brothers and sisters to band together to actually take over a lot of these stores. Literally said in his video, first of all, he had it in like his native tongue. I think it's Arabic. My assistant translated the video, and she said in his video, he's just basically telling the Arabs that they need to come together and profit off this industry, because him and his family have been making millions. They have big, large stores, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 square foot stores all over the South, and their Arabs are literally taking over. They are calling on each other to literally take over the Asian stores. Have y'all seen this? Have y'all seen the Arabs come into the community, in y'all community? Drop a one in the chat, because this is exactly what we need to do. They're mobilizing right now, and if we don't wake up and get it together, we are literally going to see that the Asians have damn near replaced the Asians. Okay. So in the case of people saying that there's oversaturation of this industry, where that's clearly wrong, you have to develop a comprehensive marketing strategy beyond being called black owned. Okay. And you have to engage, definitely have to engage in the community through events and promotions, not just promotions and sales, but having real events in your store, like give back events, educational events, events that's going to allow black women and black men to have some type of community. This is exactly what I did with my beauty supply store. We had so many educational events. I had a lot of relationships with hairstylists, and they would literally come to my store and do educational events, and what the community loved it. This is exactly what we did with Jazzy Chick Beauty Supply out in Henderson, Nevada. This was actually one of the first stores. Um, yeah, the folks from India, that's all. They all in the same region. They're all in the same region. They ain't black, is what I'd like to say. It's not black, so the black dollar is not being circulated in the black community, and that's our biggest problem. So Jazzy Chick Beauty Supply is exactly an example of how we created a very unique marketing strategy to attract the right people. So she wanted to create a store that is going to be catered towards the naturalista, the woman that spends premium on their products, premium on their hair. And you didn't need a big store to do that. She didn't have a big store to do that. Her store was probably like 14 to 1800 square feet of space. And she had a space in the back for estheticians. So she was a nurse, and she was like, "Hey, I love my nursing career. I'm not wanting to give up nursing, but I'm wanting to do something with the income that I have." So a lot of you may be on here and you love your career, but you want to do something that is going to create that passive income to where you can still work your main career and have this business. This is exactly what we were able to do with Jenny with her store, is have her nursing career fund, literally fund her beauty supply store. And her store was more of a wellness hub, is what I like to call it, because as a nurse, she was already used to that service, that service-based industry where she was always talking about wellness and self-care. And so she literally merged the two and created the store. And she does a ton of wellness events, a ton of self-care events where she would have a lot of people come out and really focus on wellness and self-care, which was amazing. Another myth that we have been told is that I can only make money when my doors open. Here is the truth. You need to create what I call a hashtag sleep coin, which is making money while you're sleeping. So what you need to do in this case is explore expansion opportunities. So we're talking about e-commerce, which every beauty supply store should have an e-commerce component to it. We're talking about our own private label lines, like new product lines, like I mentioned before, guys. You need to have your own private label lines in your store. And we're also talking about services. I also had two salon booth stations in my beauty supply store. And so services and having a one-stop shop is going to be the way of the future for beauty supply stores, I believe, because women want to be able to, get their service done, whether that's hair, makeup, nails, eyelashes, whatever, and get their products at the same time. And if you're able to do that in one location, this is how you're able to create money outside of just selling products, right? So some of you may have a hair salon and you have the opportunity to kind of turn it into a beauty supply store, vice versa, right? This is where you can explore different revenue streams in the beauty supply sector. And this is where I was able to make multiple six figures in my business, because I not only had two hairstylists, I was making well over 15,000 per month just off of their services. The retail space was making over 15 grand per month. And then we had our online website that was making money too. So when you start to think about all of the different revenue opportunities, sky is the limit. Now, this is Christina. Her store is Curly Girl Love. And this is another example. She actually came to me. She was a school teacher turned stay at home mom, right? She had Irish twins. And then she was like, okay, now I actually want to go and build my empire. I don't want to go back to the school. I want to be an entrepreneur, and came to me, and literally within a year we was able to get her funding for her store. And her first year, this is another screenshot of a text message where I'm like, so what's the sales, right? I'm like, we're at the half year mark. What's the sales? She was at $96,000, and this was August of 2023. So literally halfway through the year, she had almost broke six figures in her beauty supply business. And she also goes on to state that 12,000 was on DoorDash. DoorDash, y'all. And so literally generating over 10K a month via DoorDash is a dream. It is a dream, y'all. And when I tell you, having these additional revenue streams makes a world of a difference when it comes to your overall income. Sky is the limit. Like, not a lot of people even talk about these additional revenue streams, but y'all here getting the tea today. Okay, we talking about it today. And so she again was doing DoorDash. She was talking about her online sales, and she had her physical space. Okay, all as a stay-at-home mom with her Irish twin babies, being able to do what she wants to do. Okay. So in short, y'all, like I mentioned before, you can have all the inventory in the world. You can have all of the great accounts, all the major accounts in the industry. But if you don't master the fundamentals of the beauty supply industry, the back end, you will not have a profitable beauty supply store. You'll just have a store with a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. Because a lot of people are missing one piece of the critical elements. Okay. One piece of strategy. And it's like literally having a stool that has supposed to have three legs and you only have two legs. Okay. You will always struggle with cash flow. You'll always struggle with profitability if you don't get those things together. Because a lot of us come into this industry with an iceberg mentality. We look at the surface and it looks like it's easy to do. It looks like it's easy to set up. But you don't know what you don't know. Like I mentioned, y'all, I already made a $20,000 vendor mistake. That was just off of inventory and the wrong vendors and the wrong products and the wrong pricing. Because again, a lot of things just look very simple on the surface, but underneath this iceberg is all of the strategy. It's all of the back end. It's the systems. It's making sure that you create the proper product mix for your community. It's making sure the location makes sense, right? That is what's beneath this iceberg. And what I don't want is for people to become a large percent of the Black-owned beauty supply stores that fail as fast as they open because they missed that one piece of strategy. Okay, so check-in time. I know we have went through so much. Let me know if this is helpful. Okay, do you see how you need all of these components to run a successful beauty supply store? Do you see how to get it up and running and how you can make multiple six figures in this business? Okay, so for those of you who have made it all the way to the end, I want to officially invite you to join our mission of opening 100 beauty supply stores within our beauty supply bootcamp program, which is your proven roadmap to funding, building, and creating a profitable beauty supply store. Okay, because here's the problem and why we don't see more Black-owned beauty supply stores. Funding is one of the largest barriers because most of us don't know where to get the money. Okay, we also have a lack of guidance. Many fail without a clear plan or support. And then wrong location and wrong setup. Again, choosing the wrong space and stocking your store with the wrong products often lead to failure. But we have solved all of that for you. Okay, and the solution is our beauty supply bootcamp program, which is in 60 days, just like me, you will learn how to build and launch your six-figure beauty supply store. So this is step-by-step guidance. This is our insider resources with our proven strategies so that you can literally eliminate the guesswork and launch your store with confidence and success. So inside this wonderful program, this is our premium coaching program that combines video training with our templates and guides using more than 10 years of my experience in the beauty supply industry. You get the step-by-step blueprint to getting your store up and running. And this starts out with your custom roadmap. Now, everybody in the beginning, where I said drop in the chat what month and year you want to open, everybody had a different date because everybody is on a different journey. And this is why it's so important for you to sit down with a professional to actually create a roadmap that is going to be tailored to you to develop the best strategy to get your store open. Okay, so the first thing that you learn in this program is retailing, right? Retailing 101 is our course, Crafting Your Beauty Supply Foundation, right? So no more feeling overwhelmed by the complexities of retailing and understanding the retail language. You learn the retail language in our first module. Then we go into securing the funding. So a lot of you understand that at this point you're going to need funding for your store, but you don't have to take out your 401k like I did. We literally walk you through how to secure funding for your beauty supply store, how to create a business plan and financial projections using our templates that we've already created so that you can get funding from lenders and get lenders to actually say yes to your application. Okay, so identifying funding resources and establishing business credit, this is what you are going to learn as you are figuring out how to get funding for your beauty supply store. So literally, this is the most important part to actually getting the store open. Funding, 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 funding. And not using your own funding, using OPM just like the other cultures do. Okay? Also, developing your unique brand identity. So building your beauty supply brand so that you don't have to struggle with creating your own branding, creating marketing, worrying about the competition, right? Because identifying what's your beauty brand and being unique in your community is going to help you stand apart from the competition. Also, learning, securing your location, learning what the best practices are, what size store you need, right? Also, you're going to learn killer secrets to landing an amazing space in your community, right? All of the tips and tricks to negotiating your lease. And then also as a bonus, we have establishing vendor relationships. So you get literally access to all the vendors that we use for our one-on-one clients. So our one-on-one top tier clients, we have a special vendor list. You're going to have access to that as well as the scripts. So scripts meaning word for word, what to say when you're calling the vendors, how to order products for your beauty supply store, all of that you'll have access to in this program. So the investment is the biggest question, right? Like everyone wants to be a boss until the invoice comes. There's always a price. So our Platinum Store Launch programs are for our one-on-ones. Just to give you guys perspective, to work with us one-on-one, it starts at $30,000. However, our bootcamp program is nowhere near that. You get it for a fraction. It's $5,000 pay in full. And then we also have payment plans. So it's $1,500 down and then 6 payments of $750. Okay. So literally that will get you in the door of our program. And let me just get the link for you guys because I forgot to get this link earlier so that you guys can go to the page and check out the entire landing page with all the information. Okay. So like I said, you guys are going to have access to our Beauty Supply University, which is our online portal with all of the information, all of the trainings, all of the information about funding, inventory management, control systems, operations. You guys are going to get 6 weeks with me and my team on a weekly group coaching call where we're going to literally walk you through every single week what you need to be focused on, next steps, literally every single week live on Zoom. So the same way we here live, you guys are going to be in Zoom, videos on where we're talking and coaching you on next steps. Okay, me and my entire team. Okay, you will have access to our world-class retail system and curriculum. That's our templates and retail library. This is a library of a whole bunch of plug and play templates. So you're not building anything from scratch. Everything has been already built. So all you do is log in, download all of our templates, guides, and plug and play your specific information to your beauty supply store. Because again, it's a blueprint. The blueprint is something that you can take and literally copy and paste no matter where you are. We have seen this blueprint work all over America. As you've seen, a lot of our clients are all over. Okay, so we have seen this blueprint work in New York, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Texas. It is a blueprint that works, y'all. As long as you work the blueprint will work for you. Okay, You also, guys, will get access to our done for you elements, which is our business plan and financial projections. So everyone, as a bonus, will get access to that. And then you'll also get bonus access to our program even after the 6 weeks is over, 12 months full access to our beauty supply university as well. So this is another store in Jacksonville, Florida. I feel like somebody said they were from Jacksonville. There's a Allure Beauty Supply in Jacksonville. I'm gonna share their.
We'll be here all day to share their process, but it really was good. Working with Janice made the process a lot easier. Just really trying to figure out where to get started in this industry. I think was the most challenging part, especially because it's so, saturated and so competitive. So having Janice in there to walk us through, forming an LLC, coming up with our name, establishing those vendor relationships, and just really doing all of the groundwork that we need to be here today was truly instrumental in our success. And we're so excited to be here today and looking forward to all the things that will happen in the arts come with Allure Beauty Supply.
Yes, yes, that is Allure Beauty Supply out in Jacksonville, Florida. So there's literally no other program out here right now that is going to give you all of what I just mentioned with our university, with our 6 weeks training, with all of the templates and guides already done. So you're not creating anything from scratch. Literally everything is given to you literally on a silver platter in our university. This is another store, Mega Beauty Supply out in Cypress, Texas. And she literally moved into a second location earlier this year. Her and her daughter, and they collectively generated over $300,000 in sales in their stores. One of the biggest successes I've seen to date. 300,000 in sales for their beauty supply store. So let's talk about who this is for. So this is not for everybody, right? This is not going to be for everybody. This is going to be for a select few that understand that you must invest in yourself in order to see any type of return. This is not for people who are looking for someone to have the work done for you. This is not for people who are not coachable, but this is for you if you understand that you now need to take a step and invest in yourself and you are not afraid of doing that. Okay? We paid thousands of dollars for Beyonce tickets, iPhones, and vacations and all the things. Is for the person who believes that now is the time to invest in yourself. This is for you if you are willing to show up every single week and do the work and follow the instruction that me and the coaches give you. Okay? So this is exactly what you are going to accomplish in the 6 weeks that we are going to work together. You're going to finalize your product mix for your beauty supply store. You're going to have a completed business plan and financial projection. You're going to have polished and perfected beauty supply branding and your defined mission and statements for your business done so that you can go ahead and get funding for your beauty supply store. And this is the curriculum overview, guys. This is just a snippet of what you're going to be learning and training over the 6 weeks that we're going to be working together. Okay. So establishing your roadmap, building your credit, getting funding, your business plan and startup projections, understanding the budget of your store, branding, and putting it together with all of the systems in the back end systems, which is literally the most important part of making sure that your store is going to be profitable. So this is literally everything that you are getting when you invest into this program, as well as our business plan and financial projections, plus our bonus, which is our vendor list and vendor scripts that you're going to have access to. So a lot of times we question, next time is now a good time. I'll do this next time. Yeah, I haven't, let me just pause here and say this. I haven't had this program in years. I am just opening this program for this one cohort that is literally starting next week, a week from today. So I typically just do one-on-one. I've just been focused on my one-on-one program, which again, to sit at the one-on-one table, that's $30,000. I am doing this boot camp just this year because we have this goal of opening 100 beauty supply stores. And so there will be no next year or next time for this specific program. The next time will be when you want to work one-on-one. And that's if I have the one-on-one, right? I wake up many a days saying that this is going to be my last month even doing consulting. Because y'all know I'm a mom of 5 kids. Do y'all know that? Did I talk about my kids? I probably didn't talk about my kids. I got 5 small kids. And literally every single day I'm like, I just want to be a mom. I just want to be a mom. And so, y'all, this, you may not see this again. I say all that to say the perfect time to get started is now. If you have been waiting to open your beauty supply store and you don't have the funding yet, especially if you don't have the funding, this is the program for you. You want to get into this beginner friendly program because we're going to walk through the funding. We're going to walk through creating the business plan and financial projection, which is literally your roadmap of what you need to do throughout this journey. Okay. You cannot move forward without a business plan and financial projections. And a lot of people, y'all don't have that. So, this is going to be my official last call for you guys to join us in the bootcamp program so that next year, this time, you will be a part of my slides. I'll be talking about you as my next success story. And again, this literally is not for everybody, right? This is not for everybody, but this is for the person who has already been thinking about this. This is for the person who is ready to invest in themselves. This is for the person who is literally ready to do the work, because y'all, next year there are going to be more Arabs that are going to get their family and their friends and their communities together. They're already doing it right now, and we are going to see a shift from Asian owned stores to Arab owned stores. That shift needs to be from Asian owned stores to Black owned stores. There should not be another culture to literally come in our industry where we spend the most money and profit off of our dollars. We need to turn from being consumers into being owners. And so this is a call for a select few of people who know that this is your next move to join our program and to become a part of the 100 stores, Black owned stores, that we are going to be launching. Because this is bigger than just launching pretty stores and making money. I call this the modern day civil rights movement because there has been an economic injustice for Black people, particularly Black women, where we continue to spend our money. We continue to literally fund these stores without being owners. It's time for us to take back this ownership. I showed y'all a slide of Madam C.J. Walker, who was the first self made millionaire to actually enter this specific same industry. And so, y'all, Black women, we are not new to this. We are true to this. And so, again, the call is not for everybody. It's not for everyone, but it's for you who you know that this is what God has called you to do, to get started today. And so, literally, y'all, when first of all, if you are clicking the link and you're enrolling, come back to the chat and let me know that you're enrolled. If you're in, come back to the chat and say I'm in. Please come back to the chat and say I'm in, so that I can make sure that you guys get your access to your portal. So when you actually enroll, you'll get instant access to our online portal, so you can literally start watching the trainings immediately. So you're literally, next step, when you guys enroll, you're getting access to our online portal immediately, so you can start literally diving into the trainings, getting all things. But then we're going to get on, again, the onboarding call, our one-on-one call with me and you, where I am going to create your custom roadmap and your journey for your beauty supply store. We're going to sit down on the Zoom one-on-one, and we're literally going to walk through your specific roadmap. Okay, when you enroll, come back to the chat and say I'm in. Come back to the chat and say I'm in. The link is in the chat, y'all. Let me know if that link works for y'all. That link should work. Okay. Once you enroll, you'll get the link to book your onboarding call with me. We're going to walk through your roadmap for getting your store started. This is a one-on-one call to literally map out all of the milestones of your journey. Okay. And then you're going to start working on your business plan and financial projections. Now, literally, we have a business writer that does this for our top tier clients in our one-on-one program. She is also going to be writing the business plan for everybody in the boot camp, because we just try to get y'all to the funding faster. The goal is to get y'all to the funding faster. And so, whereas historically in my program and in the past, you would take our templates that we have in our online portal and you would plug and play, which is very simple. The template is very simple, but y'all was taking too long. And so I just decided for just this cohort, because this is the only round I'm doing this year, because then I'm going back to doing one-on-ones, because that's just what I love to do, is focus on my one-on-one clients. But for this cohort, I have decided to literally take that off y'all plate and have our business writer do the business plan for you guys. So that literally is included as a bonus. Okay, this is a bonus thing that you're getting. Usually, a business plan from other companies can cost $2,000 to $3,000 by itself just to get a business plan done. But she's actually going to be writing this plan for you guys and this program. Okay, so once you, again, like I said, when you come back, type I'm in, type I'm in. If you're in, type I'm in. Again, guys, also we have Klarna, we have Afterpay, and we have Affirm. So if you click on the pay in full option, which you save $1,000 off, pay in full, by the way, I didn't even mention that, but you save $1,000 off pay in full if you choose a pay in full option. You can literally type in your address, name, phone number, go into the next screen. You can do Klarna, you can do Afterpay, and you can do Affirm. With those three options, you have 30 days to actually make your first payment. So if you want to break it down and be able to get that discount, which is $1,000 off, it's a lot of money, you can go ahead and use Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm. If y'all got questions, type the questions in the chat because I'm about to wrap up here. But I want to give y'all next steps of when you guys enroll. So next steps, y'all, is literally getting on the call with me to doing your onboarding. That's a one-on-one call for the onboarding. You're going to get immediate access to our online portal. Okay, so you'll have immediate access to the online portal for you to literally start watching the beauty supply trainings literally tonight. And then our coaching calls start literally next week, September 1st. So every single week for 6 weeks. Y'all, we are doing this in 6 weeks. We're going to get on and we're going to coach you week by week, all the steps you need to get your store up and running, launched and funded. Funded is the main thing. Okay. Like I said, last year we got 1.4 million in funding for our clients last year. I would love, love, love to increase that number this year and literally help you guys get funded for your beauty supply stores, get funded and get started in this industry because this industry is ours and we need to reclaim this industry. So I'm going to wrap up here, guys. If there's no questions, I don't see anything in the chat. But guys, the link is there. Okay, we only have 6 spots left. We already have 4 people. I'm only taking 10 people to get all together. We already got 4 people already locked in. We only got 6 spots left. There's 15 of y'all on here right now. We got 6 spots left. So don't wait on this. Don't wait. Don't tell yourself next time, next year. Y'all might not see me next year. Okay, y'all think I'm gonna be here forever trying to do this. I might not be here next year. Okay, now is the time to get started. This is the only cohort that's happening this year. Again, this is the only cohort in this program that is happening this year. Okay, I'm going back to the one-on-ones next year. So guys, if you have questions, you can go ahead and also email me, janice@theretailgenius.com. I'm going to drop the link in one more time so you can copy and paste that because once I end the live, guys, once I end the live, the link is going to disappear forever. Okay, so make sure that if you guys want to get these bonuses, which is your business plan done for you, and 12 months additional access into a university after you graduate the program, that you book tonight. These are fast action bonuses that literally will disappear at midnight. Okay, y'all? So thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. Have a blessed night. Love you guys. See you guys at the next training. Bye.